Hi everybody, I'm Alex. I'm a meteorologist, a gardener, and maybe a marathon runner. That's the plan tomorrow. I'm running my first marathon ever, and it's here at Walt Disney World, which I'm so excited about. It's supposed to be the most fun marathon in the entire world. 26.3 miles around all of the parks. It really is literally a dream come true. I can't wait. But I am nervous about some things. If you are running a marathon in general for the first time, or especially one at Disney, you have got to listen up because there are already some things that I didn't know about. Firstly, I had no idea that ESPN Worldwide of Sports, which is where you need to pick up your race bib before the race tomorrow, is off property kind of. So yes, it is technically in Walt Disney World, but the only way to get there is a special shuttle. So luckily, when you walk into your on-property hotel lobby, they have a lot of signage about different shuttles for racers. And one of those signs is for the Worldwide of Sports complex. The shuttles start a half hour before it opens, which today it's only open 11 to 3. This is the last day to get your bib. So you can't just come into Orlando the night before your race. As far as I can tell, you have to actually be here a whole day before your race. And I didn't know that. Initially, I was actually planning on getting here Saturday afternoon, and the race is Sunday morning. It's tomorrow morning. So I'm really glad that I got here Friday night because I only have 4 hours to figure out how to get to the expo, get my bib, get whatever shirts and stuff, and then get ready for the race on the next day on Sunday morning. And that's the other thing. The race starts earlier than ever this year. It starts at 4:30 in the morning, and you have to be there at 3:30. But aside from these things, this race is going to be amazing. I can't wait. The entire thing looks like a lot of fun. I'm going to take you along with it. So we're going to go get my bib. We're going to wake up tomorrow morning with my family. They're going to give me their experience spectating. So if you have family who wants to come and spectate while you go through Magic Kingdom and through all of the parks, you've got to keep on listening because there's going to be some really good tips, I think, hopefully, or maybe some lessons learned. So we waited for the shuttle for about a half hour and it wasn't coming, and there's no schedule for when it's gonna come. So we decided to take an Uber instead to ESPN Sports Complex. I think that will be better tomorrow, hopefully, for the shuttles to the actual race, but it's really been hard to get to the expo. It was a lot easier just to Uber. Those buses are not coming fast enough from the hotels to the ESPN Worldwide of Sports complex. So let's go and see what it's like inside. All right, so I just got my bib, and that was pretty easy. Now I needed to walk across to the expo, which is where you get all of your different merchandise, and I guess I'll pick up my shirt that I pre-ordered online, so that's a nice secret because a lot of stuff is probably gone by now. Kind of cool. So the expo started on Wednesday. Today is the last day, the last few hours of the expo, but they do still have some merchandise. I know a lot of people online said they totally sell out hours into the first day, but I'll just let you know that they do have some marathon weekend merch, some shirts, some little koozies for your drinks. I like this shirt. This is really nice. You have your kind of like tanks. By the way, they do have a lot of opportunities to take pictures pre-race if that's your thing. They even had Mickey, Minnie, and Goofy available for pictures. So maybe when you get your race stuff, you want to wear some of your race gear for those pictures. That's something I wish I knew. Some windbreakers. I like those pants. That's really cool. I really do like the windbreakers. The Mickey ears are really fun. Maybe I'll get these. These are pretty cool. Very sporty. I like these. These are really nice. All right, so we finished with the expo after buying everything and getting the bib. The bib wasn't really that hard to get. Like, really, you could be in and out of there within like 20 minutes. But, you know, it took us, with waiting, about a total of, let's see, we started about 11 o'clock. We finished now at 2 o'clock. So 12, 1, 3 hours. All right, so let's talk about spectating for the marathon. So I'm going to be running through Magic Kingdom at about mile 9, about an hour and a half, a little less than an hour and a half after my start time, which, by the way, I'm in the D corral, so A, B, C, and then me is D. So maybe like 15 or 20 minutes after the race starts, that's when my corral will start. So anyway, 6 o'clock or so in the morning, I'm going through Magic Kingdom well before the park opens up. The good news is spectators can, as far as we know, join the runners on the shuttles from the resort, and then you can take the monorail from EPCOT to Magic Kingdom before the park opens. As far as spectating goes, it looks like the plan is to have my family start with me at the start line, take the monorail to Magic Kingdom, take the monorail back to Epcot, and meet me at the finish line. My dad and sister aren't gonna come at the start of the race because it's so early in the morning. They are going to actually spectate at the Boardwalk Hotel toward the end of the race, because DVC has a spectating spot at the Boardwalk. So they'll be there at like mile 22 out of 26, maybe mile 23 out of 26, and they'll watch me there because DVC has like some snacks and stuff and seating. And also, while I was at guest relations, they were kind enough, I didn't even ask, to give me this Disney Marathon pin. So if you're ever celebrating a special occasion, just ask at, I think, any gift shop, or you could go to guest relations and ask for a free pin. So you want to make sure you do that if you are going to the marathon and want to commemorate it, if you're celebrating a birthday, an anniversary, or I've even just asked, like, you know, for a pin because we're having a rockin' day at Rock and Roller Coaster or whatever, and they'll just give you a free pin. Not a lot of things in life are free, and this is just like a really fun perk to going to the Disney parks. It's like a little extra memory that you can have. All right, so Marathon Day was really different than what I expected. It was also different than what my family expected as spectators. So later in the video, I'm going to have their thoughts, because you'll get some much needed advice if you're a first-time spectator for a Walt Disney Marathon. They actually had some of their belongings confiscated. But first, let's talk about race day from my perspective as a racer. I slept for just 3.5 hours, but the adrenaline is high, so I'm not too worried about it. One more tip that I wish I knew, and I'm glad my mom was observant enough, is at the expo yesterday, she got pins. They're free. They're right next to when you pick up your bib, because you need these pins to put your bib number onto your shirt. There's another tip too, and I'm gonna drop the link to this year's website on the bottom of the description. My friend told me most races have a URL where you can actually track a runner using their bib number. So if you're looking to track somebody, if you're a spectator and you want to know where they are, how they're doing, there's a website. So again, I'm going to link that on the bottom of this video, and you just enter the runner's bib number and you can track them. Now the website I'm giving you is for 2025, so change the URL code to the year that you're running for the Disney Marathon weekend, and that will give you the runner information, where they are, and you can follow them, see everything that you need to know. Or you can always use like Find My iPhone if you have an iPhone or something like that. There are other tracking apps you can use. So it is 3:10 in the morning right now. The race starts at 4:30. We're running downstairs to get hopefully the shuttle, which will hopefully come, you know, pretty smoothly. I found out last night that it's actually almost a mile walk from when the shuttle picks you up, or rather drops you off, and you get to the starting line. So if you think you're running a marathon at Disney, you're really running a little bit more than one, because you're running almost, or walking, almost a mile to get to the starting line. And, hold on, Pat, show the signs. Like, I almost cried this morning. Run with the colors of the wind, because I'm a meteorologist and I love Pocahontas. And then our favorite meteorologist forecast, finish line. That's my mom's. And just keep running, Alex, you got this. It was so fun to wake up to that. I had no idea. All right, the bus was waiting for us as soon as we got to the Beach Club bus stop. Nice. Okay, we just got off the bus. It is 3:41. I think what was really fun about the bus is just seeing everybody have their like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I had my little peanut butter bar. Like, it's just funny how we're all eating the same stuff. And one other thing I found out yesterday that is really making me feel so much better is that the balloon ladies, who are the people who come to make sure that you're going fast enough, and if they pass you, you're out of the race. The balloon ladies are not going to kick runners out when they're in a theme park. So obviously there are going to be a lot of stretches of this race where you're running on roads between theme parks, and that's where they'll kick you off. But the last leg of the race is EPCOT. So in theory, you can kind of take your time from mile like 22 onward up to 26, because at that point you're in EPCOT, or maybe it's like 23 or so. But the last like 2 or 3 miles, you're not getting kicked off the race. So I think that's pretty cool, and it made me feel a lot better. Before you line up for the race, there's actually food and coffee for purchase. They have an entire show going on where they interview racers, really keep things pretty entertaining while you wait. I was in the D corral, which started about 25 minutes after the first runners were off at 4:30. But honestly, the time went really fast. I wasn't feeling lethargic at all. The beginning of the race was at EPCOT this year. We went around World Showcase, and cast members from around the world waved to us from their pavilions. The character lines are very long at this part of the race, so I skipped that, but some characters do selfies, so I managed to get this one with Rafiki, who's a pretty rare character to see. By the way, the race is so much fun if you're a Disney nerd, because you get to go into all of these backstage areas, like Test Track 3.0, which is under construction right now, was right above our heads as we raced underneath the tracks. Magic Kingdom was next on the list, although there was a lot along the way, like live music, some from local bands and schools, and there were even movies playing with lots of character meet and greets. I didn't have my headphones in at all. This year's course, the 2025 course, that went right through the front of Polynesian Island Tower and the Grand Floridian DVC Villas. That was the first place that we saw spectators. So really convenient if you're a hotel guest there. Then the Electric Parade greeted us as we entered Magic Kingdom, and the thousands of spectators along the way. That's the first place that I saw my family, was right down Main Street. By far, the most incredible moment of the entire race was going through Magic Kingdom, and I think this is the best selfie I've ever had with Cinderella Castle. We went right through the parks and underneath the castle. We actually ran under the castle. There were so many PhotoPass photographers lined up right in front of the castle for that perfect picture, and the character lines were starting to get a little lighter at this point in the race. I saw Sparky and Angel, which are experiments from Lilo and Stitch. I thought that was kind of unusual, so anyway. Then we went to the TTC, Transportation Ticket Center. I thought that was going to be boring, but it was fun. There was enough time between Magic Kingdom and the Transportation Ticket Center for my family to ride the monorail and meet me there to spectate. So it was really a great surprise to see them. And then we were racing around the parking lot for a while. We did a whole loop, but the sunrise was so beautiful that even that went by very quickly. There was a Mulan and Shang meet and greet, which was another pretty rare character. And again, the lines really aren't too long at this point, so that was good. And every mile that you're passing, by the way, there are tables with water, Powerade, and every few miles you'll also see tables with free snacks. I got some jelly beans and kept those in my pocket, and there were so many bananas, like thousands of bananas on this race route. Even though at the water treatment plant, cast members were waving to you, so absolutely everybody was such a joy. Animal Kingdom itself was very cool. It was golden hour at this point, so the photos were great. I feel like my best photos were here, and my family was able to take a bus from the Transportation and Ticket Center. It was a very close one, but they were able to make it to Animal Kingdom and spectate here at Dino Land, which is really deep in the park, so they had to kind of do some running of their own to get there in time. At this point, the park is open, so you can actually go right onto the rides. Expedition Everest was ready and willing to take racers, and I was told that there was no wait for Expedition Everest. But I didn't go on the ride. I decided to just keep on racing. I was rewarded, though, with an amazingly rare view of Expedition Everest from the backside. And this is, again, what I'm talking about, where you go into these backstage areas that you don't get to see. I never even knew that Expedition Everest looked like a giant building on the backside. I thought that was awesome. And then we went through Blizzard Beach. Well, by through Blizzard Beach, I mean around the parking lot. We actually didn't go into the park at all. And I was told that that part of the race is really difficult because it's not as exciting and you're kind of at that 20-mile point. But I was okay at this point. I think that I started to lose my steam right after Blizzard Beach. That last 6-mile stretch is so hard. I started to slow down a lot, but I met up with a pace group. I had no idea what this was before this race, but apparently there are pace groups where people are employed or volunteer to hold a sign with their pace, and then they keep that pace. So if you follow them, you keep that pace. So I ended up kind of joining the 10-minute or 10.5-minute pace group, I think it was. And they were like, all right, we're going fast and now we're walking, and we're going fast and now we're walking. And that helped so much because I just wanted to just walk. And if I started walking, I don't think that I would have finished the race. But at the end, when you start going through the EPCOT resorts, the energy is right back. I, saw my family again, and I was in Epcot. I was expecting Epcot to be like a really long part of the race, but they changed the course, and you really only go through the UK pavilion, and then you go through the back tour, kind of like the backlot area, and then you're pretty much done with the race at that point, and I was so happy to be done. Afterward, they give you a goodie bag with a bunch of snacks in it. I was starving, so I ate stuff that I honestly wouldn't have had zero interest in at any other point in my life. And the only hard part was that after the race was over, if you wanted to go back into Epcot, or even if you wanted to go get the bus and meet up with your family, it was a really long walk. So you are not done walking after a marathon. You still have to do like another half of a mile or mile to get to the shuttles. And that was something I did not anticipate, but I would do it again in a heartbeat. This marathon was a ton of fun by my perspective, and I'm gonna interview my family so that way you can get their perspective as spectators. So I took a nap. That was tough, but I had so much fun with the race, obviously. Now, the spectating experience, I can't emphasize enough, first of all, like going through these parks, how important it was to have people cheering you on, especially when they're like the people you care about the most in your life. So I want to pass over to them because they literally did a 10K while I was doing a marathon, except I trained for a marathon. They did not train for a 10K. So it was a little bit more of a challenge, especially trying to figure out where you guys were going. I'm not even exaggerating. So what was it like? Tell me, like, from beginning to end, where you guys went and how you figured it all out.
The start line was
The
a little
start
confusing.
line was very confusing.
We couldn't see the screens
you
that
couldn't
said
see.
which heat was going.
Nope. So we kept taping every single person.
Literally recording everyone.
We were communicating too. I was like, I think I'm the next corral. Like, it's kind of hard, like, to know when you're exactly taking off. But we saw each
Yes,
other, and that
yep.
was good.
And
But
we
then
saw you
after
take
that,
off.
You went to the...
We had to walk
Yes.
all the way
Epcot
back.
Motel.
All the way
Epcot.
back
Which is a very long
to
walk.
the transportation.
We got on
Then
the
the
Epcot monorail to
transportation.
TTC, and then we took the express monorail
Right.
over to Magic Kingdom.
Yep.
And then we got off at Magic Kingdom, which was a breeze.
Yes.
We got
Okay.
into the park.
Yep.
Super easy.
Yep. Found a
Main
good
Street was a little
spot.
busy,
Yep,
but we found a spot. And we
And-
saw you come down Main Street.
Yep.
Yes, and that was really great. So right on Main Street, you don't need a park ticket or anything.
Nope.
You can just,
Go in,
We
Right.
soared
go
right in, yeah.
Right.
We were there probably around 6 a.m. I want to
yeah,
say.
And then what was a nice surprise, though, that we didn't expect, we thought it was just going to be Main Street, and then after that, finish line.
That's what we thought.
Right, but then you guys met me at the Transportation and Ticket Center, and that was our clearest view of each other, I think.
No.
Oh, no, Animal Kingdom.
Animal Kingdom was the best.
But we learned about both of those
Right.
spots from people on the monorail.
Yes, yes.
They told
Wow.
us, hey, you can
Yes.
view at the TTC because they go
Right.
through Magic Kingdom, then they
Right.
come back around to TTC,
Yeah.
and that was.
But it was really
nice.
hard to get to the Animal Kingdom. Nobody.
Right, how did you get there? So you were at the Transportation and Ticket Center. Did they just have a bus to Animal Kingdom?
They did, but it wasn't great communication about where spectators can go and stuff. So we did a lot of digging. We found out, asking questions of people who have been here before, families that have seen their
Right.
loved ones do it before. So
We got
that was
there
the-
great. However, coming back was another story.
Yeah, I want to hear about that. And I also wanted people who are watching this to know that there are other places you could spectate that I didn't expect that weren't in the park. Because when you're in the park, they need to check your bags, so don't get bags, to bring with you. It's going to...
Yeah, don't bring anything.
Don't bring anything.
Just bring your signs.
Don't
And
bring a cowbell with
yeah, no cowbell.
that away.
Yeah, needs less cowbell. And the other thing that was interesting, though, is that if you want to avoid that, you can go and actually spectate, at least with this route. It does change a little bit every year. The Polynesian new tower, the island tower at the Polynesian, right at the front of it, like where cars are going in. People spectated there. People spectated at the Grand Floridian by the DVC villas. So those were two spots I didn't expect to see spectators, and they were there. And then obviously in the parks are open. So you guys did end up getting to Animal Kingdom and spectated at Dino Land. They are the last people to ever see a marathon at Dino Land because it literally closes today. So that was pretty wild. And then after that, you guys said you had some issues getting back from Animal Kingdom. So what was that like?
So they had told us there would be a bus to TTC, Transportation Ticket Center, but the bus, we had to take a bus that was going to either the Polynesian, Grand Floridian, or Contemporary,
Right.
because the roads were still closed. So those hotel buses were actually going to go to TTC instead, and then those guests would take the monorail back to wherever they needed to go. So we got on a bus to the Polynesian,
Oh, yes.
which we confirmed with the
Right.
driver was actually going to take us to Transportation Ticket Center. He said yes. We get on the bus. We're in gridlock traffic,
Yes.
getting up World Drive up to Magic Kingdom, and then we showed up at the Polynesian.
Yep.
He was like, "Oh,
Wow.
He opened the doors and was like, "Yeah, we couldn't stop at
No.
the Transportation Ticket Center. We're bringing you to Polynesian."
So we had to walk all the way to the transportation system.
From the Polynesian.
Yes.
It was a trip.
Wow, so you went to the Polynesian from Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, from the
Yeah.
bus. Yeah.
Got it. So you
Yep.
took the Polynesian
Right.
hotel bus
Yep.
to get
And then
there.
we had to go through
And-
security, and we got stopped again.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that I was like blacked out at this point of the marathon, but I actually did run through all of this to get into
Right.
EPCOT because you go through
Oh, wow.
the EPCOT. You go through the EPCOT
Oh,
resorts,
wow. Nice.
and that is where my dad was able to
Yes.
sort of see me toward the end. Unfortunately, it was just so difficult to get out of Animal Kingdom
Yes.
for you guys that you didn't make it for the end of the
No.
race. But honestly, as cool as it would have been for you guys to like have the energy at the end of a race, like there was a choir, there was all of this great stuff, I wasn't gonna see you. There was a 0% chance I was seeing anybody at the end of a
Right.
race. All right, so you guys were spectating toward the end at the boardwalk. What was your experience like with Dad?
We wrote a sign, and they allowed us to do
How
that.
did you get there?
We walked
We took a boat.
in a boat and over.
We took a boat to get there. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, so you actually couldn't walk from the beach club, which is where we were staying.
They had no.
They blocked a lot of it. Everything was blocked off. So we took the boat, and that was fun. And they had
was
stuff for the
Uber.
DVC people.
we
So we had
did.
hot cocoa. We made signs. It was fun.
That's actually very nice.
Yeah, it was good.
How long were you waiting there? I'll ask Dad.
How long were we waiting there?
Yeah.
Not very long, maybe 15 minutes.
How did you find out where I was?
All right, you guys.
We were getting calls. Mom was giving us the updates. as to
So they were tracking me.
It just starts moving. Come on, go, go, go. I'm cold. God, you don't know cold.